What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today I'm going to share with you 3 envelopes that I recently got back in the mail. I know who one of them is because they put a return address on the envelope. I'm not going to share that with you, but these are all going to be racing related returns. I haven't done a racing video for a little bit, so I'm going to show you some of the recent racing returns that I got back. Alright, this first one, which has the postmark on it from Indiana with his personal address, is a return from former IndyCar driver Phil Krueger on 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's his chilling out photo, I guess, him reading a magazine. Another thing is he did include a personal note. Joel, all my best to you, Phil. Phil Krueger, the younger brother of Freddy Krueger, spent many years in people's nightmares. No, I'm just teasing. It's no relation to fictional character Freddy Krueger. But Phil Krueger is a Indy 500 driver. He had a career that spanned basically the entire 1980s. He spent 9 seasons from 1981 to 1989 and through 1991. Racing in various IndyCar races, including the Indianapolis 500 multiple times. There are breaks in him appearing during that time span because 3 times in his career he got into accidents and had to recover from those accidents, therefore missing some races here and there. So unfortunately he never won any of the Indy 500s. However, he did finish in 8th place in 1988, which is the highest that he ever finished in the Indy 500. So overall, an Indy driver, open wheel driver, which means there's no top to the race car, so to speak. He had a decade career in racing. These cards, indicate that. These are, cards from the early 90s, and this one is from the mid-80s, I believe. I came across these cards not too long ago and just sent a bunch of them out, but very happy to get Mr. Krueger back. These cards are relatively cheap to find, so if you happen to come across these all-world racing sets from, I want to say 91 and 92, if I'm not mistaken, you can definitely send a few to Mr. Krueger, and he probably will hook you up. So, all right, this next one is postmarked from North Carolina. Surprise, surprise. And it is former race driver and middle brother of the Bodine brothers. So the middle brother, Brett Bodine. And if you recall, I had Jeff Bodine on the show. Well, he wasn't on the show, but I had a return from him on the Remember the Greats channel a little while back, and I'll link that at the end of this video. On 1, 2, 3, and 4. And another McDonald's card to add to the collection, in black Sharpie, of course, because I think it's a rule that all former race car drivers sign in black. Ironically, it just seems that I always get them back in black Sharpie, but that's cool. It's better than not getting them back at all. So Brett Bodine, the middle brother, he started his career in 1985, appearing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in Bristol, the Budweiser 200. He would race 77 races in the Xfinity Series up until 1999. He also raced in the NASCAR Cup Series for 480 races over an 18-year period. Unfortunately, he only had 1 win over that entire period. He also raced in the NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoor Truck Series, so he raced trucks as well. He did not have any wins in the Truck Series, as he only appeared in 3 races, and that was primarily at the end of his racing career. After the NASCAR days, he got into the Truck Series. He raced for Budmore Engineering. One of the things that he's probably most famous for was in 1988, in the opening race at the Daytona 500, he was involved in a tumble with Richard Petty. Coming off turn 4, Bodine could not see Richard Petty landing in front of him after flips, and Bodine drove straight into Petty, spinning Petty into circles. So I don't know if there's anybody watching this, but you very well may remember that race. Overall, he had a very strong career, 20 plus years in racing. Wasn't as successful as his older brother. However, very impressive that the entire Bodine family almost was in racing. I just need to try to track down some cards of Todd Bodine and send him some cards so then I could complete the collection of the entire Bodine clan, so to speak. So thank you very much, Mr. Bodine. Very happy to add your autographs to the collection. Alright, so this next one is from Racing Legendary family, I guess you would say. Just like the Bodine family is pretty legendary, but this one's a little more notable. And this is Maurice Petty on 1, 2, and unfortunately he did not sign the third one with his brother and his father on there. That was the one I probably really wanted him to sign because I was going to send it to Richard. But, it is what it is. So that doesn't mean I still can't send it to Richard. But Maurice Petty, very happy to add these two to my collection. He is the younger brother of Richard Petty. I'll just put this on the screen anyway while I talk. And he is the son of Lee Petty. Well, I'm not going to stand here and tell you the history of the Petty family. If you're a racing fan, you already know it. Meaning Lee Petty, a race car driver, had 2 sons, Richard and Maurice, and together they formed Petty Family Racing. And Petty Family Racing is still operated by the Petty family today. As you know, the Pettys had children as well. Kyle Petty comes to mind. So they're still very active in the NASCAR world today. I sent these to the same address that you send to Richard Petty. If you guys have ever written Richard, it's the same address, Petty Family Racing. So if you want his autograph and you have some Maurice cards, definitely consider sending those his way. Well, let's talk a little bit about Maurice's career. So Petty started in racing. However, he wasn't as successful as his younger brother, Richard, of course. However, that doesn't mean that he wasn't successful in other areas of racing. He became a crew chief, he became an engine builder, and driver and team owner for Petty Racing. Well, he was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2013. As I mentioned before, he appeared while he was a racer. His first race was in 1960. His final race was in 1964, so he only raced for a 4-year period of time. He finished in 16 top 10s in the 26 races that he appeared in over a 5-year span. So overall, very happy to add Mr. Petty's autograph to my collection. Like I said, I wanted him to sign that one, but I guess 2's the limit, which I can respect that. So I may turn around and send that to Richard, and then possibly consider sending it again to Maurice after Richard signs it. So thank you very much, Mr. Petty, for signing those couple cards for me. Thank you, Mr. Bodine, for signing those, adding another autograph to my McDonald's collection. And thank you, Mr. Krueger, for being the first Indy driver success that I got on the Through the Mail Thursday video series. I look forward to sharing more race car related successes with you. I've got a few more out there in the mail, so if you enjoy racing successes, definitely stay tuned. I will have a few more in the near future, so I look forward to your comments below. Thanks.